Yeah, it's not like VR is failing. It's like the whole world is failing. That's why they're cutting back. The market crashed apparently in VR, and so the issue, Frost is gonna explain it a bit. But with that said,
let me context.
The question would be like how the VR software industry is affected from work creation, game creation, or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, Frosty, go explain.
So context. There are a couple of items that happened in the past couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. Microsoft fired their entire VR XR team. So Windows MR entirely fired. HoloLens might be a thing, but like in terms of consumer grade stuff, all of them have been fired. WMR headsets are no longer a thing. Meta is fired even more people, and originally apparently it was rumored they planned 3 headsets, which was the Quest Pro, Quest 3, and somewhere in between there was allegedly a headset in between. That got canned. They fired a bunch of people. They're working with Tencent now. Pico 4 sales did not hit intended targets. So intended sort of didn't hit the sales margins, and so they're cutting back on production. There are rumors of Sony doing the same thing with PSVR 2 because initial adoption wasn't great, but Sony has denied this, but obviously they would deny it.
Yeah.
So yeah, VR industry as a whole doing very badly right now.
Yeah.
Also, Echo Arena, the only VR esports, was recently shut down, which sucks balls, but it also suggests that it couldn't support itself.
Oh, sad.
It couldn't
we are in a recession, right? We're technically in a recession.
We are in a recession, yeah.
I was about to mention
is
that.
Cutting edge tech, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not like VR is failing. It's like the whole world is failing. That's why they're cutting back.
Yeah, the housing market hasn't adjusted yet, but I mean, like it seems like all the corporations are tightening up, and I don't know. I think Elon Musk said it was going to be like a 2-year, I mean, Elon Musk, take him as he will, but I think he said it was going to be like 2 years before like things get back together, like best case scenario. But things could still get weird with issues like geopolitical issues with like Ukraine Russia thing, and then China to Taiwan thing, and all this stuff. And there was Korea. They're putting a lot of pressure on North Korea right now. So like hopefully nothing gets too bad, but I think like sanity will prevail. But I mean, ignorance is a very powerful tool, and when you have political powers not getting along, obviously like it creates a lot of uncertainty, and like everyone's wants their own survival. So I mean, there could be like a confrontation of some sort. Hopefully there isn't, but yeah, so yeah, a bit of uncertainty right now in the world, and I don't know whether it's going to be a long-term or short-term thing, or how bad it's going to get. I'm an optimist, and I like to think evolution will find a way of rooting out the problems in each social structure, whether the military has to intervene and wherever. But yeah, I think things will get better, but there is a lot of issues right now. The housing market, the economy is messed up. We got AI. There's tons of issues. Global warming. Get a little heavy here, but
nukes, earthquakes,
I think
tsunamis.
Earthquakes in Turkey. And
speaking of earthquakes, are you dead?
Not yet. Stay tuned.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have a special if he ends up passing
coming
away.
At you live. I'm undesirable.
Yeah, help. SOS, send help.
And just in case that was sensitive, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah.
As technology advances, though, our lives become easier, though. So there's a lot of there's a lot of optimism for the future, and I think just looking at all the negative is not a good way to live, because often things your brain doesn't. It's always things are way worse in your head than they are in reality. Global warming's relatively slow. Yes, it'll cause issues. Desertification of certain areas are going to cause, but it often happens slower than you think. And I think people need to look at the positive things, not ignore the things that are going to cause you issues, but imagine how you can fix them, or there's things you can do to fix them, or whether it's you got to run for government, or you got to find people who believe in science, whatever you got to do, get kind of in a situation in which you're hopeful, or you have control of your future, and people who don't don't believe in the same, who don't believe in, let's just say, the facts, kind of try to get rid of them as best you can without killing them.
So what you're saying
I'm
is,
just saying, I'm
There wasn't
try
an
your
F, wasn't
best.
an F.
suppressing. Facts don't care about your feelings. I'm desperately
Yeah, facts
suppressing
do
the
not care.
Ben Shapiro lines.
Oh, Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is my favorite pseudo-intellectual. I absolutely love him.
Nah.
Look, he says a lot of crazy shit, but I feel like facts don't care about your feelings is kind of true.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they don't. They just don't.
So, but
yeah.
so that way, so your message is
Tough.
try to survive and make money. Is that the message?
I suppose, yeah. I know, and it's like, yeah, I know, it's tricky, and it's like,
Yeah.
how do we need sweeping change? How quickly do we need sweeping change? Can we just deal with gradual change? Can we deal with, multiple space-based missions going to the moon? Can we deal with space battles over resources? Can we deal with the water crisis that is going, the resource crisis for water and stuff that's going to happen in the future? Are we prepared to deal with those things? And I really hope we are. And I think at the end of the day, I as much as I've had issues with United Nations and stuff in the past, I don't think the answer is completely abolishing the United Nations and starting over. I don't think that's a situation in which anyone benefits. I think we have to kind of reform structures from within and and implement measures for global cooperation from the systems we have now, because there is a framework there. It's in place. Whether American politics or Canadian politics are perfect how they work, they're obviously not. But populism will only get you so far, and I think at the end, intellectualism will get you even farther. So we do need to have intellectual based hierarchies in our nations that actually propel stuff over populist rhetoric and fear and divisiveness and all this other stuff. So there's far too many people. The new Bible is memes. If you want to know what the Bible is of our century, it's memes, and that's really sad and pathetic that people get their news, ideology, information from memes. They don't know how to check papers. They don't know how to look up. They just don't do it. It's you put your parents in front of YouTube for a week and then go back and look at their YouTube front page. You'll never put them in front of a computer again. You'll unplug the computer. You'll throw it in the backyard, because they literally get siphoned like cattle down these channels. And the same things happens with kids and Instagram and stuff. They get siphoned down these suicide corridors where I do I'm on a Facebook group for kids who get scared, who have usually on the spectrum, doomsday debunk. So we debunk basically fear articles, and articles designed specifically to sell fear, asteroid approaching Earth. Meanwhile, you look at the Century Table, it's been known for 20 years and poses zero threat, but it comes within 20 lunar distances, and they sell it as the end of the world is near. And you get all these kids, a lot of them with Spectrum and stuff. Yeah, and it's all these kids, they're all crazy, they're going nuts, and they're they want to kill themselves and stuff like that. And then Facebook is just here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, and then you got government people who that's good data, it's good business. It's dude, you're killing your children. You would bury your child if for a goddamn bag of coin. It's just insane, the society we live in. So and it's all umbrellaed under oh well, it's free to So yes, we do need regulation. We do need certain things. If free market is not free when Halliburton owns all the stuff and is going to war in the Middle East that's not free. It's there's got to be some structural changes that take place before things are going to get better. And right now we're doing not a lot. I think Europe's doing some stuff. North America's not doing a whole lot.
Europe is,
yeah. Canada maybe, but America's not doing shit.
Yeah. And a lot of these corporations are based in the States, so
yeah,
they're really only going to be affected by the States doing stuff, right? So
yeah, we don't need CCP, but we do need a layer of hey, we're not going to sell your child's data to some toy company or whoever. Who even knows what they're going to sell? Selling kids' data to.
Look, politicians, can you grow some backbone? Jesus Christ!
America's as much as I hope America, Europe. I hope America moves to Europe. That's something I've been saying for a long time, because I don't think. Yes, there is some hope for America, but there's also a lot of just stuff that would make you want to claw your eyes out and rip your ears off, and it's really hard to. You just got to turn the channel off after a while.
I mean, America definitely has its own issues. It's very confusing how such a powerful nation can't figure out things that other nations have arguably taken more steps towards. But you know, it is what it is, right? I love America. It's also part of its freedom and part of its bluster.
Yeah,
Whatever it
it's
is.
blessing and his curse. The Tucker Carlson syndrome, let's call it.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson's a fun.
The Tucker Carlson syndrome.
Sorry.
Let it. Yeah. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine.
But okay. Hey,
It's not fine. It's not fine, but it's happening and whatever.
and that's the reason why the VR market is crashing.
Okay. Back to the VR market, right? Okay, I'll just say my piece, right. A lot of these businesses, right? The VR market has been inflated by a lot of external investment from sort of big giant corporations. Part of me is upset. Well, part of me is disappointed that these corporations are pulling out. Part of me is happy because hopefully it'll lead to more innovative VR designs and more sort of companies that actually give a shit about VR. So for all of Pimax's issues, right? For all of their horrible software issues, I'm sure they actually care about VR, because otherwise they wouldn't be making giant headsets with huge FOVs. And the same for Valve, the same for, you know, what are they called?
The Pico guys.
Shiftall. Yeah. HTC, Shiftall, the guys making slimes, you know, the small companies small companies that hopefully will
The haptics.
be given the space to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you okay? I mean, yeah. I mean, you see it in a positive light then, like because this crash.
Kind of. I see less VR adoption because people won't have access to incredibly cheap headsets anymore. But I also see better headsets and better hardware coming along. Slower development, but more natural development, because companies aren't just, you know, funneling money into VR in hopes of getting more clicks or, you know, more customer data.
Do you think open source VR headsets are the future? Do you think until open source VR headsets are adopted, the market's going to be like struck with ineptitude or like maintain a level of like ineptitude? Because like I think like when you get to a level in which you can put your own panels in, you know, you swap your optics out and all this stuff, and it's in a form factor that doesn't look like a huge box strapped to your head.
Stupid TV.
Yeah.
Because like there isn't a certain amount of like width you need in a headset. Like Pimax, okay, I use a Pimax. Pimax is my main driver, AKX. I shit on Pimax because their software is buggy, their hardware, like this one came with a broken microphone and a broken earphones, and I have like third-party devices hooked up to it. That's the only way I can use it. This is my second headset. Anyway, I don't want to get into a rant about Pimax because it'll happen, but Pimax and HTC are both, I found both very poor customer support. The number one headset, like I always recommend for people, is usually Meta, and everyone hates Meta, and it's like, well, you gotta they're siphoning my data, and I agree, like it's not good. The practices are trash.
But the hardware's good, so it's cheap.
The hardware is good. Yeah, the only issue is like after like a couple hundred hours, you might get stick drift. It's like,
yeah.
It's,
and in that case, like Meta usually warranties your controllers as well, so like just send them the old controllers.
I mean,
it's like amazing.
There's no arguing that. I would love for open source VR headsets to be a thing. Okay, so I think there is one open source headset that's allegedly coming, and I think it's supposed to run a weird version of Linux as well. It looks okay. It looks kind of bulky, but it looks okay. I'm excited for that, but I'm also kind of skeptical because like VR is difficult, right? VR is hard. I don't know if we'll ever get to a point where or rather, I think the point where VR is as open as PCs are today is probably still 5 to 10 years away in terms of just manufacturers having the
lens.
Let's call
the lenses, right?
Leeway, right? Do this stuff, yeah.
The lenses and angular setup is like the biggest. That's like the big thing. Like if someone can get the optics down, like the lenses and the optics and the angles, and they could just have swappable panels, so you can go like 4K this year, 6K next year, 12K, and you swap it in, you plug it in, and if it breaks, you pull it out, and you're dealing with a lot less e-waste. You're dealing with a lot less, fussed as long as it's like a some sort of like plastic that's not going to deteriorate or snap over time.
Yeah.
But we live in like an
You also
expendable
need
economy, like everything's
to
throwaway.
standardize though, right? Because like there's no way you
What's
can get people to plug in like shitty little ribbon cables. You have to standardize a
Yeah.
Lego-esque sort of format like a PC is. I hope someone's out there dealing with like, I don't know, a PCI for fucking little VR displays or whatever. Because I would love to be able to like slot in my little VR displays the same way I would a motherboard and just be off to the races.
Yeah.
I hope that happens.
USB 12.
I really do, but I
USB 12.0.
yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
I'm just worried,
what
'cause
USB are we
I
at now?
worry that the open source VR stuff. 4.
I'm confused because like there's
Yeah,
USB-C,
so
then
okay,
different
so
variations of C.
we're at. Well, no, USB-C. Okay, USB-C is just a plug, right? So what USBs we have is 1, 2, 3, 3.1, 3.2, 4, and 3.2 by 2 is the same as 4, because the USB spec doesn't make any sense.
I see.
But the most modern USB spec is USB 4, and there might be some other things like 4/Lightning, 4/60 whatever gigabit whatever. But yes, 4 I think is the most modern we are at in terms of USB spec, and USB-C is the home of 4, or it should be. But theoretically, you can put USB 4 on any sort of USB plug. Why haven't we moved on from USB like 2.0 style plugs to USB-C? Like everything should just be USB-C.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I still like USB 2.0. I don't want to get into a debate USB 2.0 versus USB 3.0, the old style connector. I always find USB-C is very. I mean, well, it's good for like little things. Like if I got my HTC trackers on, I got to plug something in. Obviously, I don't want like a 2.0 because that would like I don't know. I just feel like that would snap the port right out. Whereas 2 will come out cleaner. But I find like there is a nice hardiness to like a good USB 2.0, 3.0 port. Like it does have a good amount of fortitude.
You're
from an engineering standpoint,
because it's just a larger port. But I think technically the spec is USB rated for more insertions. Whether or not that's in real life true, I don't know. Like especially if you like torque them.
Or insertions.
But yeah, if you torque them and stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Solution.
You're away with words, Frosty. Yeah, clamps would be cool.
Yeah, clamps sound safe.
But the thing is, like,
oh yeah, like
I don't know how many times I've
like DVI
tripped over
VGA cables.
something. Yeah, I don't know how many times.
Like DVI VGA cables where you have to like you can screw them in.
No, that's a lot of
When
fun.
did those go away, by the way? No. Listen, okay. Listen to this shit. Okay, the amount of times I've accidentally unplugged some cables or like fucking moved my DisplayPort cable in the wrong way, and then it's like no image.
Clamps are
That never happened with DVI. That never happens with
Imagine this
VGA.
for a second, though. Okay, I got my HTC trackers on. I got my things plugged into them, and I run up the stairs, and my cable gets hooked on a railing. Do I die or does the cable come out? Because that's kind of like where I'm at right now. Because if it's clamped in, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna like literally like rip. Like I'm gonna just fall down the stairs. No. Snap my neck.
Solution.
MagSafe, right?
Solution.
But in the end, Apple's the solution. A MagSafe.
No. Look. The solution is make weak wires, so the wire will cut. You will destroy the wire.
No, that's bad. These things carry power. USB 3.0 can carry 100 watts of power. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's
details.
Is it 2 amps? 100 watts at 2 amps?
No, it's like 5 volts at some stupid. They're all 5 volt, but they're at stupid amperages because
Oh, okay.
I don't know, that's how the spec works.
The decentralized, like yes, I want decentralized headsets. Like they'd be really great, and I'd support it. But however, keep in mind that a lot of open source, like this open source stuff, they're slow development until hyperbolic. Then they become the best. But until that point, it's not popular and it's not good at all.
Okay. Let me solve this real quick. Hey, Linux dudes, you can run Arc Linux in VR. Imagine how cool that would be.
Yeah.
Okay, I've solved it. We're done.
No, okay, but by the way, right.
Going back, count it down the minutes.
Going back on topic, considering that,
Fuck you.
because of all the bad VR stuff.
Fuck the topics.
You're making you're working in VR at this point in terms of software. So how do you, are you worried? Are you, what's up? Yeah.
I'm not really worried because I think okay, so when I started playing VR, I used to come on and play chess. I would I would just come on my like Quest 2 headset. I'd be like, VRChat. I'm gonna go play chess with some people and just kind of like be social because like, the COVID was going on. There was a lot of stuff going on, and it was just kind of a way to like talk to people on like a more meaningful level. And then with chess involved, like you don't even have to talk. You just play games. You have fun. You work on your chess. You do all that stuff. So like for me, like I didn't know there was another layer to VR until someone said, "Hey, go check out the Great Pug," or someone's like, "Oh, you ever been in the Great Pug?" And then I got pulled into the Great Pug, and all of a sudden, once I'm in the Great Pug, it's like this weird. I'm trying to kill the Great Pug with this map, but it was like this weird influence of like weirdos and like cool people and just insane people. And there's always people cycling through it. So you go up there, you hang out, you'll meet some nice people, and like after a while, I met a lot of my best friends there, and like, I don't think I'll meet any, like there's still nice people and there's still cool people in VR, but like I found a lot of my friend group and a lot of like people I associated with through there. So I think like this is kind of going off that tangent, but I think like the staying power of VR is very powerful, and I don't really think that like a lull in the market is going to change that, because like I know even my friends who said they moved on from VR, they're still on almost every other day, every day they'll come in and say hi, or we'll hang out in Discord, and if we're not on Discord they'll come find me. So it's like this VR is not, it's like your third home in a lot of ways. It's like, you got like you work, you got, your home, and then you got like maybe like a nice restaurant or something, but there's always like a space you emanate to that keeps you kind of like, that you go back to and you miss. And with VR, it's so dynamic and diverse that if you find the PC worlds, you find people your own age, you can like hang out and talk with really cool people you would never meet, especially if you're in some of these, middle of nowhere towns. And that's why VR is so popular with the LGBTQ plus community, because they can be in the most racist, heinous town in the world, and they still have family in VR, and they come in and they hang out, and everyone's loving and accepting, and they'll talk about stuff. And if they're having issues, they can talk it out and like build build each other up emotionally and make each other stronger. Where like you don't get, it's just such a, like you find people faster in VR. Like you find people you associate with and that you like have the same similar blueprint or similar archetype with very quickly in VR. Especially, a couple 100 hours, you'll probably find someone that's like really, really super cool.
Yeah. So I like
and certainly I feel
so in the long run, VR is not, I don't think there's no threat there. There's zero threat whatsoever.
And considering what you said,
it's not a gimmick, it's not a 3D TV.
Like even if, let's say, we didn't have any new headsets, like Pico didn't come out, Pico 4 didn't come out, the Quest 3 won't come out, for another, like, let's say 3 years, a 3-year lull, still VR would survive because it's just like a so great new experience.
I think it'll survive, and that being said, I have a lot of friends who are just on desktop. Not a lot, but I have some friends that are just on desktop because they don't like being vulnerable. Like, because like when you're in VR, you feel more vulnerable. So there's some like I have people that only go on desktop because it elevates their social stature to a more like kind of a bigger presence. But I think the actual community of VRChat is huge, and I think the staying power is only going to bring more people in. And I know even with some of my like Twitch friends or some of my people, I'm always like, hey, we're having a party and my map tonight, come hang out, come to my map, come hang out, we'll have fun, we'll chat, there'll be music on, even if you're on desktop, come hang out, because like the social experience is just so immense that it's not, whether people want to play the next Bone Labs game or not, that doesn't mean anything. But the actual VR like metaverse type community thing is real, and Zuckerberg bet on it, but like the investors like pulled away because like some of these games or something. But like creating worlds, creating communities, creating friendships, creating groups is unparalleled. It is unparalleled. So it's not going anywhere.